that weird freaking apartment up there. I didn't do too much poking around on my way through. I didn't want to have to beat up a crackhead on my way up to this roof. What's up, everybody? Ryan here, coming to you from St. Mary's, Pennsylvania, on a new store. They said 3 units are down, but they'd like them all looked at. I don't know, looks like 8 Lennox package units. The weather has cooled off. It's only 67 degrees. And it looks like it could rain at any moment. So, this guy is operating, it's doing something. I feel some heat coming out of the top. I believe the blower's on. None of them appear to be marked as far as 1, 2, 3, or 4. So I'll just mark them myself. They look like halfway decent units just from the exterior. Yeah, this one's not marked either, so we'll just start. They're 2010s. Come along with me as I look at each unit, gather belt, filter information, do a brief run through of what I see right off the bat, and we'll go from there. Starting here, number 1. Well, I got a blower running, but she is shaking, and I've got first stage cooling running. Shut it off. Belt's gonna be freaking beat for sure. The belt's worn, the pulley is decent, not too much I'm finding on that blower. It's just a shaker. Filter, dirty. I'm gonna look over this electrical, check the heat exchanger, cycle it in air conditioning, and if it works, it works. If not, I'm moving on. Well, the heat exchanger's good. Check these coils, check these condenser fan motors, the electrical, and then we'll run it in AC. Contactors all look good. Got everything jumped out, Y1, Y2. Let's put some panels back on, clear this drain trap, see what kind of supply temp we're getting, and hopefully we can just buzz right through these. All right, drain trap's cracked. Both stages are running, both fans are running. Needs a new belt, needs filters, gonna clean coils, putting out 54-degree air. I'm moving on. I don't see anything crazy here. This is a service call. Moving on from this guy, and gonna hit them all. Get all the relevant information, belts, filters, coil cleanings, contactors if it's needed, and basically come back and do a preventative maintenance. He said there's been no preventative maintenance done. The air filter was dated sometime in 2024. I'll have to look on the next one and see when they were replaced, since winter, but I don't see anything crazy here. A little vibration in the blower. I think it's due to the belt. The bearings felt good, the motor felt good, a little bit of wear on the pulley. I am gonna write that up. Let's go. All right, moving on to what I am gonna mark, Unit 2. What it's been marked in the past, I don't care. Looks like it's been marked 6 in the past. I'm going 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I don't know, that makes more sense to me. Why would 6 be in a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. That's how I'm doing it. There's no EMS, so it's not like we have to have these numbers correspond to what EMS has them marked as. So I'm just gonna make it easy on myself and go from front to back. This one's not running. That one, he said, was an issue. I was putting out 54 degrees. I had no problem. So I don't think they know. I asked him because my service report, or the service request, says 3 units down. I said, which ones are they? He goes, I don't know. I want them all looked at, which I get it. I wanted to look at them all too. I was gonna do that, but I just wanted to know what he's having issues with. They're dirty, you know, there's stuff, but Let me see if this thing's even calling. We'll go from there, make sure we have proper voltage, and go from there. Now this guy has an issue. I have no voltage at the unit. Let's see here if I can do this. Okay. Fuck. 0 volts. Trust me on it. We don't have voltage. Checking. Nothing to ground. Okay, so we have probably a trip breaker or an off breaker. Let's give it a quick look before we go find power. See if we have a breaker off. Let's pull this. No fuses, so it's off at the breaker panel. I'm gonna open it up, see if anything's shorted the ground right off the bat, and then we'll go try to find the breaker. Well, you can see the state of the filters. Coil's dirty. This guy's getting a full coil cleaning. The pulley on the motor is wound all the way in. The set screw must have come loose. It wound itself all the way in. Bearings are clicking. This guy's gonna get recommended a new motor and a new pulley. Bearings on the blower. Making a little bit of noise. I don't want to kill them on this first initial inspection, but we'll see how it sounds once we get it up and running. But I got to get pictures, check this heat exchanger, and I got to pull the covers off the contactors. I didn't get anything shorted the ground from right here at the contactors. I'm going to give it a more thorough look here in a minute and then go find a breaker. Okay, well, contactors are starting to pit a little bit. I'm going to write them up. Compressors both test good electrically. Blower motor tests good electrically. Fan motors test good. Nothing shorted the ground. From what I can see here, the wiring all looks decent. So I'm gonna go find the breaker, confirm that it's tripped and not off. I do want to check and see if we have refrigerant in both of these circuits before I go down. Okay, so I found the disconnect inside and we have restored power. They're fused disconnects. It's like a disconnect wall, a whole panel, and there's no trip. You either blow a fuse and that's it. There's no tripping the switch, and the switch was in the off position. It took the manager about 20 minutes to clear out the bicycles and boxes. So I'm assuming they're using that room as storage and somebody knocked it and beat it with a box and switched that off, unless someone else switched it off. But why would they switch it off there when they've got a disconnect right here if there was an issue? So 208, 230, I thought these were 460 units. They're not. The transformer threw me off. I saw 460. No, I didn't. Where did I see 460? Oh, it doesn't matter. They're 208, 230, so I'm not as cautious. I mean, be cautious, but let's stand back, turn this on. The fuses weren't blown, the switch was off. And let's see if we can get this thing to do something. Well, I figured I'd start with the blower. And it's gonna get a belt. And that pulley's wound all the way in and the motor's clicking. So, as long as it's running right now, that's all I care about, because it's gonna get replaced. We get the screws in this, get this panel on, we're gonna kick on some AC. All right, guys, and as you can see, this panel's not leaning up against the coil. Just for everybody out there who's concerned. Not touching the coil, simply touching the cabinet. Blower door's in place, that still needs screws. I tested the economizer, it's good. Got Y1, Y2 jumped out. I got condenser fans. I don't have either compressor. Ah, high pressure switch was tripped. All right, so the high pressure switch was tripped on both. Is it a possibility it was running, you know, on a hot day and that switch got switched off? Both fans are running, blowers running, both compressors are running. Suction lines felt immediately cold, you know, as soon as I touched them. Get a supply temp and see what's going on. These coils are gonna get cleaned. Part of the write-up, because come on, you, I don't believe anything's been done here in quite a while, so we're just gonna come and start from scratch. Clean these coils. Look how packed. They're dirty up there. I'm gonna get a picture of that. They all need chemically cleaned. They all need drain pans cleaned, belts, filters. Make sure they're running and cooling as well as they can right now, but that's what I'm gonna do. Write all of that stuff up as usual. You guys know the routine by now. They're dumping heat. Possibility on a very hot day, but first thing we need to do is clean everything. You can see it's all packed up in there, and they are hot. So I'm not surprised. 60 degrees and dropping. So I'm gonna check them mechanically quickly, make sure there's refrigerant, make sure they're kicking on. That suction line's nice and cold. Oh yeah, let's see how this guy feels. Very nice and cold. So you can criticize, but the do not exceeds on these are very small, and I just want to run through and see what works and what doesn't and make my recommendation. Come back, clean it. I always put on the service report after they're cleaned and maintained. There may be more write-ups, you know. So, well, I'm glad that we don't have any major problems with this guy. I think that guy hit the switch and turned the power off to the unit. 58 right now. I mean, it's cooling. I don't know what our return temp is. Not even gonna check it until we come back and clean everything. I think I might leave this one run for a bit while I go and start collecting information on 3. See if it trips those high pressure switches. I'm heading that way. Okay, I got that one opened up. This guy's been running for a minute. I'm just gonna button it up. We'll come back and clean it. Mechanically, I don't see any major problems at the time. And we'll go from there. Wonder if this thing's gonna be calling. It's not the hottest day out, so more than likely, nope. All right, let's button this back up. We're just gonna keep plugging away here. Okay, so we have power on this one. That's good. I did shut the disconnect off and confirm that power was off. Well, I'm looking over these contactors, and I'd say we've got an issue with this guy. At least the wires are melted, the contacts are burnt and very pitted. Looks like it got awfully hot. Just curious if we had loose connections here. And not extremely loose, but they've been so heated. What I'm going to do is only jump out Y1 and see which contactor pulls in. Blower is good, belt needs replaced, filters need replaced, coils are going to get cleaned, heat exchangers good. So I'm going to jump out just Y1 and see if it's that contactor that pulls in, then we'll evaluate from there. Okay, I'm all jumped out. Got no contactor for either compressor. Now let's see if we got refrigerant. All right, well, we have refrigerant, so we're good on that. Now let's see why this sucker's not coming on. I believe the high pressure switch may have been tripped. I did hear a click. Yeah, baby. Well, I'm gonna take my gauges off of that one. Suction line felt cold right off the bat. And I forgot my temperature probe over here. Again, these are the most lost tool that I have, these UEI temperature probes. So if you've ever found one on a roof in the Pittsburgh, Cleveland area, there's a good possibility it was mine. Yoink, 70 degrees. Yeah, we'll see what that's doing here in a minute. All right, so found a weak capacitor on one of the condenser fan motors. They are both running. It was 13, it was reading 13 on a 15 UF. I'm gonna write up the capacitor, 54 degrees. I'm gonna go ahead and mark that capacitor, that way if somebody else comes, they don't have to do any thinking. Right there, that's the guy. We're definitely getting a contactor. I believe we may have had loose wiring connections that caused that wire to melt. So I'm going to compile my list and move on to 4. All right, we're on number 4, and everything looks good except for the blower. I've got an extremely sloppy bearing. It's flopping around. I'm gonna recommend a blower rebuild. Whether they do it or not, it's up to them. Okay, here we are. Pretty much just the blower rebuild is all I found on this guy. Both compressors are running. Heat exchanger's good. Let's check some supply, air temps. This fan has not kicked on. Wires are connected. Let's give it a minute. Blower is running. Oh yeah. Suction line is cold. This guy's not running. Running backwards. I'll dig into that. This one's gonna get the same treatment as the rest though. Coil cleaning. We're at 58 and dropping. Let's check these capacitors. 15 UF. Yeah. I think that's the one for our one that's not running. $11.5. That's weak. That is weak. Let's test this one. 14.4. I'm gonna swap these. See if that fan comes on. Actually, I'm just not even gonna hook the other one up. See if that fan kicks on with a stronger capacitor. So it's definitely just the capacitor. I don't have the capacitor. They want everything here quoted, so I'm gonna move it back. It's a weak capacitor, preventing the condenser fan motor from coming on. We'll just put it right back the way it was. So we got a blower rebuild, coil cleaning, filters, belt, 15 MFD capacitor, preventing condenser fan from coming on. And we'll give a little mark next to this one. That way, if someone comes back that's not me, they'll know right which one to replace. Right, I've moved on to number 5 here, and I noticed right off the bat, extremely clean filters. Belt, blower, everything looks okay there. Contactors look decent. And then I find this tripped resettable fuse on our transformer. So let's go ahead and push that and see what happens. More than likely it's gonna immediately trip. What do you got? You gonna trip? Has not tripped. Let's check these contactor coils. That's a good sign. Didn't trip, but maybe when things start to try and kick on, they might. So I'm gonna pull these contactor coil wires, test each coil. All my coils are reading 7.3. I think we're good on the coils. Now, I'm just gonna jump out. Well, Y1 and Y2 are jumped out on here. I'm just gonna jump on cooling. See what happens. We may have a rub out somewhere. We may have a component failing or failed. I just want to kick it on and see if we jump that, or if that 3 amp fuse trips. So we will find out right now. Let me get my meter out. I'll be right back. Well, looks like the problem may just in fact be the transformer itself, because I'm getting 0 volts. I'm going to confirm that we have line voltage to the transformer, and if we do, then the transformer it is, and we move on. We do in fact have 208 to the transformer and no 24 volts coming out, so right there, bad transformer. We'll write that up. I'm going to test these capacitors on the condenser fan motors, and then I'm moving on. I've moved on from bad transformer to this one. What's this going to be? 6, number 6. I hear a blower running. This is the first unit that was doing anything when I walked up to it. None of the other ones are calling. I will take a walk around the store and just confirm that all the thermostats are working before I go. But I'm gonna dig into this guy. Hopefully for the rest of them, there's just work. Just come on and work. I wanna get out of here. So that's what I'm doing, buzzing through the rest. All right, nothing of great importance on unit 6. Appears to be operating decent right off the bat. Let me get my temperature probe in there. What do I have written up on this? Clean coils, belt, filters. One of the contactors is pitted up a little bit. That's about it. I'm skipping straight to 8 and marking that one 7, but I'm doing 8. That way I don't have to get all this zigzagging across the roof. I'm over it. Let's see what this guy's putting out. We'll bang these last 2 out real quick. Look at the hail damage on that coil. Is that hail? Sure looks like hail. Yeah, he said this one seemed to be operating pretty good. Watch, this will be the one with the most problems. Let that guy run. Got 2 more left, and I'm ready to move on to my preventative maintenance we got back here. What a dumpy plaza this is too. Dump. That weird freaking apartment up there. I didn't do too much poking around on my way through. I didn't want to have to beat up a crackhead on my way up to this roof. Anyway, 57 and dropping, man. I can't be disappointed with that. Okay, no major issues on this guy. I'm moving on. All right, well, I thought I was just gonna slide through and kick these on. Looks like we had a wiring issue here at some point, but the blower motor sounds like dog ass on this one, so we're gonna get a blower motor written up for this guy and cycle it on an AC. Hopefully everything else is good, and then 1 more unit, and then it's time to eat. And I heard that one just kick on, so that's a good sign. Oh yeah, love it. Kicked right on. Suction line's nice and cold. Beautiful. Shall we do a from the distance tool hunt? Let's see what's going on this upper roof here. What do we have? Black roof, random Yorks, Lennox, Train. I don't see any tools, so I'm not gonna bother getting up there and looking around, but I had to at least give it a gander. Had to get some eyeballs on it. You never know. You never know what could be up there. Anyway, I'm not gonna overthink this one. That is cold. That is cold. That is hot. That is warm. I love it. Coil cleaning on this guy, belt, filters, and a blower motor. Moving on to number 7, which is the last unit to look at on this roof. And then we're moving on. Look at that cloud. Just wants to rain on me. I know it. The last unit here, number 7. Get the belter, get the filter and belt information. Looks like we're missing an entire piece off of the economizer. Yeah, this piece. Whatever. I'll take a picture and say, hey, they're missing that piece, but is it even that necessary? keep the rain off it, like over there. I'll show you on that one on the way out. But yeah, I really like the ones that have the handles, you know? All these screws, these gas lines, how janky is that shit too? Look at it. Lovely. Anyway, I'm gonna check to make sure we have voltage before I kick the disconnect off, but I believe I heard this one kick on. Anyway, I'm gonna bang this one out and then we're gonna be out of here. Totally missed that on the walk by. But they're gonna need a new drain trap. Yup. That ain't trapping shit right there. Get a picture of that, start my list. Oh yeah. Lovely. Lovely. I love it. Dumping heat. Of course, this one's gonna get the same prescription that the rest of them are gonna get, and that's coil cleaning, belts, filters. This one needs, of course, the drain trap. Contactor coils, or contactors look good. Suction line is cold. Both of them, both cold. Love it. I'm gonna finish up my list, gather up my stuff, and head on out of here. But yeah, this was the piece I was talking about over there on that one. Here, I'll show you on this guy. It's missing this little slanted hood on the dampers on these guys. So I'll get a picture and say it's missing that, and that's it. All right, guys, that's gonna do it for this one. If you liked the video, hit that subscribe button, hit that bell icon. That'll notify you anytime I got a new video coming out. Leave me a comment, hit like. I appreciate you watching, and I'll see you on the next one.